Hello, incredible ones. Every time I come to you, I am smiling really hard because, like I have told you before, I have the best client. So this is Darnyelle, excited to be with you for another interview in the Incredible Factor University client interview series. And you hear Latte shaking her little tail feathers in the background, but we're going to keep this party going. So today I have the pleasure of introducing to some and presenting to others of you, Mrs. Antonina Geer. Antonina and I have known each other for over 8 years. And over the course of the last 8 years, we have worked together 3 different times. Antonina is someone I consider to be a friend. And as you've heard me share with some of these other interviews, I love my clients and we decide to do life together. Antonina and her husband, Larry, were at our wedding. And listen, we only had 100 people at our wedding. And I have worked in the last 11 years with thousands of clients. So I think that might just tell you how special Antonina is. What I love about her is that she has a heart it's a heart of gold, and it's a heart about service. And what she'll share with you, I think, as you start to hear about her journey, is something that no matter where you are in this moment will help you to realize that where you are now is great, but where you're going is even greater. So without further ado, I would again like to present and introduce Mrs. Antonina Geer. So, hey, Antonina.
Hey, thank you. I'm glad to be here.
I'm so excited you are here. So start by telling everybody who you are in your own words.
Well, I'm Antonina Geer. I am a wife, a mom. I'm in middle management in corporate America. I also been an entrepreneur and starting out in a new business. So that's me in a nutshell. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. So right off the bat, she just went there. So we'll make sure we go there as a part of the interview. When I first met Antonina, I think you were doing some contract work.
Right.
Trying to build your business on a full-time basis. She had her business full-time and then realized that she needed to take a step back and go and work. And so let me just sidebar right now and say this. Entrepreneurship is not easy. And anyone who tells you that it is lying and their breath stink and you shouldn't believe anything.
Exactly.
And so as a result of that, sometimes we have to take a step back in order to really propel ourselves forward. I did it, right? I left corporate America, 2005. I'm unemployable. I'm not working behind nobody else's desk until 2008 when I had no money. I was bankrupt. And I took my little proud behind and got me a little job. And I worked that job for 2 years full time before I decided to come back into the land of entrepreneurship. And I haven't looked back. So one of the reasons why I wanted to interview Antonina is because some of you are trapped in a business that is not serving you. And you are so far gone that you're at the point of desperation. And hear me, you will not build a business that serves you from a vantage point of desperation. And so sometimes the best thing you can do is to humble yourself and to go back to get a job. So we're going to talk about our entire journey because, again, we've been knowing each other for 8 years. So initially, Antonina, if you can even remember back that far, what was it about me that made me the chosen one?
I can't even remember how we connected. I know it was probably on on the internet or Facebook, probably. Somebody was connected to you that I saw, and it was something, it had to be something you said that was powerful. But back then, I think you were more speaking a lot about marketing, and it was just something about you. I was just like, I have to know her, and who she is. Something had drawn me to you. I was working with a life coach at the time. But then I was like, well, I still need some business coaching, not knowing that I was going to get the whole plethora of life change.
Most people don't realize that.
I know. And I was new to coaching, anyway. So, but I think that's so, my 44-year-old mind. But that I think that's how it started.
Yeah. And I think you're right. And, let's sidebar right fast around the whole, I thought I was coming for business, but I didn't realize I was going to get everything that I need for my life. So let me just say this about me, because I don't want to speak for business coaches as an industry and tell you that any business coach will be able to help and support you in the things that happen in your life. I'm not going to say that across the board, but I will say that in my work, it is important that I treat the whole entrepreneur. Mm-hmm. So we spend time on mindset. We spend time on spirituality. If there's a problem in your marriage, we're going to talk about it. You know, the skill of coaching and understanding how to help people to get out of their own way is a skill set. Now, the good thing is that it is a skill set that can be learned. And so I apply it, right? I call myself coach, mentor, consultant, right? If we can make that one word, I don't know what it would be, but I'm whatever my client needs me to be in the moment, right? There are times when clients come to me and they think that they're getting business strategy or they're wanting business strategy, but I'm reading the energy. I'm seeing what's going on and I'm like, no, back up. We need to slow this train down. And we do a full-blown traditional coaching session. And coaching, just so you know, in case you aren't clear, is about asking you the right probing questions so that you can find the answers that are locked inside of you. Coaches in the traditional sense do not tell you what to do. They help to lead you to the results. And so there are times when the work requires that. I remember when we first worked together, we private coaching. So Antonina had me all to herself back in the day. I did a lot of private coaching. Today I do it case by case basis. And we really built a foundation around what was then her business. And then I think, you know, you were continuing to work, maybe took like a little break, and then you ended up coming back for our second time and working together around 2015 and did the 12-month program, which was now at this point a group.
Right.
And then now she's back again, you know, I guess we kind of get together every 3 years or so for iteration number 3 with a new business and a new focus. So the other thing I wanted to pull out of that, and I'm going to have Antonina talk about it a little bit, is, you know, what happens when you realize that the business you've been in is not the business you feel called to. So talk a little bit about that journey for me.
Yeah, absolutely. So I was doing financial management strategy for businesses, acting as a virtual CFO as well. Mm-hmm. And so when I started that, back then you were hearing, you know, you start a business with your skill. Like, what are you good at? And what have you follow the protocol of, this is what I've always done, this is what I'm good at, so why not start a business with it? And I had some success, thankfully, working with you. I had some clients, and even ventured into something else with a partner, with something else that was able to use strategies that I learned from you in that. Mm-hmm. But I still felt I wasn't satisfied, or I felt there was still a longing there. Yeah. And I felt like I was being called to do more, something different. Mm-hmm. Financial management was cool. I mean, I like numbers, but I was starting to feel like when I was going to do the work, I just didn't want to do it. Yeah. So, and like you talked about earlier, doing business out of desperation. Oh, I got to make this money because I need the money. Right. So that was that journey. But over the few years, and the thing about you, it wasn't just business though, because you would still check in. Even when I wasn't a client, we would talk phone, text messages. You'll say, hey, you just dropped in my spirit. What's going on? And it'll go from there, right? But during that journey, so that was when we first started. And I was still doing the financial management, the Christian entrepreneurship with that partnership. And then in 2015 is when I learned that neither of those things was what I was supposed to be doing. Mm-hmm. That was fine with the partnership. It was because that was more spiritual in business. Mm-hmm. So it was feeding my spirit some, but I was hiding behind partnership. Mm-hmm. So I wasn't always using my voice. Mm-hmm. And that could be something else. But, you know, God was calling me, I knew then, to use my voice and what he's giving me and not hide behind someone else or something else. Right. And step into what I'm called to do.
Right. So let's stop right there for a second, because there's some really, really powerful nuggets that I want people to get from this. Mm-hmm. So the important thing that I want you to hear between what Antonina said is that her connection, first and foremost, to God, right? And then second to herself, showed her that something was off. This is how entrepreneurs stay in businesses that don't serve them. There's nothing that says you have to, even if you feel the call of entrepreneurship, there's nothing that says that you have to do it in that business, right? I was watching The Prophet last night, and the woman's business she needed to file bankruptcy and just stop playing. But she was holding on to it because she couldn't even hear her own voice. So there's an important part of the process that has to be that alignment piece and knowing enough about yourself to know when it's time to hold them or fold them, as Kenny Rogers would say, right? And so and it takes courage. For those of you who are listening who may even find yourself in that place right now and you just need some support of what should you do next, you already have the answers. 9 times out of 10, you don't want to hear the answer. You're not ready to take the steps you most need to take based on what you know to be true, right? But you have to, because it's not going to work. If you are out of alignment, you may get some quote unquote success, but it's going to be more struggle than it is significance.
That's the key.
Yeah.
It was struggle. That's exactly what it was. It was struggle. And in 2015, and if anything with struggle, there's friction. Mm-hmm. And so it hurts. It's frustrating. Mm-hmm. And so I was starting to see that. Mm-hmm. And at the time I was doing business, but also doing a part-time contract. And I felt like I needed to go back in corporate America, but I was fighting against it. So I was still doing contract work full-time at this point because I had kids that were in college and football camps and all that stuff. And 2016 is when, like you said, I had to humble myself. And when I felt like I knew God was telling me I needed to go back to corporate America, because and I should have done it a long time ago. And this was full time, but being embarrassed, prideful. But the thing about this particular job is that I knew or felt in my spirit that there was a reason why I had to go, not just for me, but there were people there that I was called to. Mm-hmm. And from the beginning of starting there, I could see okay, I know what you're doing now. Not in the full, mm-hmm. but I can see what you're doing. And I was promoted within less than a year and a half, which is helping me to do some of the business that I'll be doing now, the people that I'll be serving now. So yeah. Yeah. Yep.
I think it's important to say that, understanding that, and Willie Jolly, I think, says it the best, right? A setback is a setup for a comeback. Mm-hmm. So there's nothing final unless death is what you're experiencing. If you're not dying, you have an opportunity to shift, right? And to recognize that no one cares. I think about when I was filing bankruptcy, right? I should have filed bankruptcy at least a year, if not 2 years before I actually filed it. Mm-hmm. But what kept me from filing it is all of the people who were going to call me on the phone when they saw my bankruptcy listed in the paper, right? So when I do finally, I'm at there's nowhere to go but up, and I have to file because it's about to get ugly if I don't. And so I file, and it's a non-occurrence. If people saw my name in the paper, they didn't care enough to pick up the phone and to tell me that they had seen my name in the paper. So we build it up to this massive thing in our minds without realizing that sometimes those are the things that have to be done. Now, please don't misunderstand me. I'm not suggesting that anybody just go and file bankruptcy just for the heck of it. For me, it was the only answer, but it also was not the end of my life. I mean, I turned around, and 4 years after the bankruptcy, I had a 7-figure business. I had more money than I know what to do with. I had 6-figure cash flow and all of that stuff. And sometimes you have to be willing to lose it all in order to gain everything that God has from you. So that's what I really want you to hear in this particular interview, that sometimes you have to be willing to take that step back in order to get what you need. And I love what Antonina said, that now she has a fundraising opportunity. Her job is affording her the opportunity to get the help she needs to create the business so that at whatever point she decides she's ready to step away from corporate again, this time it'll be her last time stepping away, and she'll be set up in a business that serves her, that feeds her spirit, that really allows her to do the work that her soul was called to do, which I think is really, really important. And I wanted to make sure that we talked about this because, again, the statistics around small business say that there, are far more people struggling than there are people that are strutting. Far more. I mean, roughly 89.19% of all entrepreneurs are not doing $100,000 a year in gross receipts. And the fact of the matter is this: even if you are only doing $100,000 a year, you really are broke in your business, because $100,000 is really like $48,000 by the time you pay taxes, and then if you pay yourself, like maybe your business is doing $10,000. Like it's not where you want to be. The goal really is to be at $250,000. Like that is how you have a business that is really setting you up to go where it is that you want to go. So what made you keep coming back? There are other people, right? You could have worked with any number of people at each stage for whatever you were needing at that particular point in time. So what was it about me that said, I'm going back to Darnyelle?
For one thing is that who you are. You are such a loving person. I've seen it with me, and you don't just care about me, you care about Larry, my kids. You've been through some of the worst times in our lives, really. I remember you being there on a number of occasions. And then you know your stuff. You have the receipts, as people say now. The business coaching, the strategy, the prayer, when you made that shift when you were more bold with your relationship with Christ, that's what really got me as well. And then whenever I think about looking into somebody else, God always brings you to me either through a dream or through my husband, like, why don't you just go back to Darnyelle?
Thank you, Larry.
And he do it with a face like, girl, you crazy.
Right? What I love about the husbands, like, we did the interview with Marissa, and she was like, her husband be like, well, did you ask Darnyelle? Because that don't sound like that's something Darnyelle would have told you to do. So I just love that they get involved in it because they see the change that happens in you and want you to continue to be supported in that way. So I think that's great.
And my husband loves you. When he came to that event in 2014, I think it was in Reston, Virginia. Ever since then, it was a done deal for him. Yeah. He's like, yeah, she's the real deal, So, but yeah, just who you are. And I know that when I put in the work and do what you tell me to do, it will be successful, and you're going to be there with me every step of the way. And for you, I'm not just a number, or, oh, that's just one of my coaching clients. Like we said earlier, we built a relationship that I believe will be for a lifetime.
Yeah, I sure hope so. I hope I don't get kicked out of the Geer family.
And you're part of the family. We don't talk every day, but you're still family. And
we talk more since we built our houses.
That is true. That is so true.
Like, you like this? You like this?
Where'd you find that? Yeah, that is very true. So I just love that, and I don't think I'm gonna get that anywhere else. So I'm gonna stay put. As I grow, I'm gonna keep going with being with you, and So
talk to me about the difference that it's made in your life. So let's talk life change for a moment. So I said on some of the interviews that I had a brand strategist kind of review my brand and give me some honest to goodness feedback about if we're in good shape or we need to fix some stuff. And one of the things that he said was, I think you are missing the mark on what you really do. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I grow businesses.
Period.
And you do. And you have hundreds of testimonials that talk about all the money that you've helped people to make, but you're changing their lives too. And you're not telling that story. That's actually what made me start doing these interviews.
Mm-hmm.
So what have been some of the life-changing things that you can clearly connect back to our working together that have made all the difference in the way you show up as a woman, as a wife, as a mom?
Ooh, I would say definitely confidence. To have someone see more in you than you see in yourself, especially somebody like me who you grew up around a lot of female cousins but you were always the one who stuck out, where somebody was always saying you're special and you're this and you're that, or you're smart, but I had to shrink around other people,
Mm-hmm.
my family, because those were my first best friends, female friends, right? And so, but when you have somebody else who, as powerful as you are, see something in you, it makes you just show up, be confident, believing that you are, or I am, everything that God has shown me or said that I am, and that I can do it, but not always by myself. I am a loner. And so having somebody that looks like me, believes the same way I do, that's one thing that's changed my life. And then also the times that we work together or not work together, and I've been on your heart, or you've called me, it's been at some of the lowest. A couple of times you called me, I was so low. And after talking to you, it changed my life, changed my marriage. And those are some of the key things I think that I could think of for now.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
So they're sitting here and they're listening and they're like, okay, Darnyelle, really? Like, what would you share with them as to why they should pursue? They should, at minimum have a conversation with me or a member of the team to see if now's the time and we're the right fit to help them not only grow their business, but change their life. What would you share?
I would share that this is the time. The time is now. If you're watching or listening to this, you don't have to ask God, is this it? He led you to this. And so definitely, even in that call, your life is going to be changed. You're going to get some nugget in just that call, but that's not all of it. You have to work with her to get in the full. But I would say just do it and trust the God in you, yourself, and trust the God in you, Darnyelle, and just move forward and take that step.
Yeah, and I think it's important that you just said that. So I kind of want to pull back the layer on that too. The beauty, I believe, in working with me is that you get a person who isn't in it for personal gain.
Mm-hmm.
I'm only in it for you. Like when I told God, yes, I would do this work, it was really about him getting the glory in every possible way and not about me, which is part of the reason why I don't tell the full story about what it is that I do, because I didn't even realize. I knew it conceptually, I knew it consciously, but I didn't even realize some of the changes. And I know you've been watching every single interview, like, oh my gosh, I was just watching it up, and I'm like, yo, my mind is being blown, because I didn't even have any idea of my power and what God put on the inside of me. And when I tell you that, if we decide that we're the right fit to go to the next level together, like, listen, it's like Martin. If you guys used to watch Martin back in the day, in that episode when he was on his way to California and he quit his job, and him and Cole and Tommy were talking, and he said, if I blow up, boom, boom, you blow up. Like, that's what I'm talking about. Like, if I blow up, you blow up. Like, that is how this thing works,
Right.
And it's not just about the business, but please be clear, your business is going to grow, because I do know what I'm talking about when it comes to growing a business. Like everything that I touch turns to money. Not that it's just about the money, but we're going to get your life right. We're going to get your spirit right. We're going to get your marriage right. Like you become a member of the Back It Up Society. All my married clients know about the Back It Up Society. Don't play no games. You back it up. You don't want no problems.
You go on 3 days to an event. That's to a Darnyelle event.
Back it up before you go, and you back it up when you get home. We don't have no problem. None whatsoever. I'm joking, but I'm not joking. Like seriously, like the full circle woman, everything about you is going to grow and be better because we decided to partner and come together. Like when I say shake the planet, that's what I mean. Like whomever you're touching, their lives are better and different because of you, and your life is better and different because of me. It's a ripple effect, and we're doing this thing together. So Antonina, in closing, anything else you want to share with them that you think is really important before I let you go?
I would just say invest in yourself, and don't be afraid to invest in yourself, because when you do, your life changes and the ones around you, your loved ones, change as well. So
yeah,
that's all.
That's good stuff. So if you are listening and your spirit has been piqued and you are wondering if, let's do it. Let's have a conversation. All you need to do is to go to darnyelle.com/session, darnyelle.com/session, and fill out the information, choose a time that works best for you, and then you'll have a conversation with me or a member of the team. I want to thank you for your time and your attention. Thank you, Antonina, for just being who you are. It's been my joy to serve you. And until we meet next time, remember, you deserve a business that funds the life you crave so that you can shake the planet. My name is Darnyelle Jervey Harmon, and I will help you to grow your business if you let me. Talk to you again real soon. Take care.